Knocked it down.
That's the 30-30 for you.
It is time for some 30-30. Yeah. Knocked it down.
That's the 30-30 for you.
I love it. Can you believe I'm 48 years old and I still haven't shot a 30-30 lever action?
We're going to fix that.
Okay.
We're going to fix that.
Let's go set up the target and then we'll get to it.
We should do that.
Okay, so I took care of the target. The guy miner literally flattened the target. Guy, thanks for coming back.
Hey, good to be here. And we lost the scope somewhere in the meantime, but hey, we've got the 30-30. It's working good, and it flattens targets.
So I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I've shot lever guns before, but for some reason, there's unfulfilled destiny with the old 30-30.
Yeah, that's like America's cartridge.
That's right. And I kind of am a bit of a purist, so when I think of a particular platform, I think of a particular cartridge, and well, this is going to be fun. Okay, one more. I think I'm going to start with 4 here.
That's all it holds.
Yeah. Okay. So, should we do this?
Yep. Sights are dead on, 50
Okay.
yards. Nice.
Ooh, that's nice. Ooh. I like this because it has enough recoil to be substantial, you know? But not so much that it's going to be overwhelming.
Right.
I think I missed that last one.
I think you did.
But that's pretty awesome. Why don't
3 out of 4 on your first time with a 30-30 rifle.
why don't we go down to reloading room and you can kind of walk me through the process of how you like to load this stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, let's
do
do it.
that.
All right, we're back in the studio. I thought we'd try something a little bit different this time. Guy's going to tell me what to do, and he's going to talk about loading 30-30. I'm going to start charging cases. Why don't you talk about our powder charge to start with?
The first thing I'm going to tell you is if you're loading this stuff,
Yeah?
don't blow up my rifle.
I'm going to try not to.
Thank you very much.
It's my first time with 30-30, so you never know.
Safety first, safety first. When we're reloading for anything, but I'm thinking particularly with hunting rifles, it's got to be a safe load. It's got to be something that the rifle can handle. And this is not your basic bolt-action rifle that can handle gazillions of pounds pressure. So we want to keep it reasonable. And my reference for this was the Hodgdon manual. I decided to use Varget because I had a lot of Varget left over from my target shooting days. And it's listed in the Hodgdon manual as a pretty good powder for the 30-30. 33 grains is the max powder charge. We're using 32.5 to keep it just nice and safe. In case we make a little bit of a mistake or throw a little more, we're good to go.
Let's talk about what you did before this, because obviously I'm jumping straight to charging, right?
You are, yeah. And I sized and primed those cases. Full length resizing because you want to make sure that they function real well through your rifle. They've got to function well. They've got to go into the magazine. They've got to come pop out of the magazine, cycle on through this lever action, and get up there in the chamber, and then you've got to be able to eject them. So that means we're going to full length resize these things, and then we're also going to be real careful when we come over here to the seating and make sure that they're seated basically to factory specs.
So here's a question for you on full length sizing is you've got both a case rim and a shoulder here. What's your head spacing strategy? Are you going to check shoulder bump with that? Or are you going to just use a case gauge?
It's a good idea to check the shoulder bump because the 30-30 with that real mild shoulder, it actually has quite a bit of case stretch after you've reloaded them a couple times.
Gotcha.
And that's why I used a Wilson trimmer on these to make sure they were all the right length. Yeah, you got to watch that with this thing. It will stretch a bit. So that's a good point.
Interesting. And It's kind of familiar from the old Mosin Nagant, actually.
Is it?
A rimmed cartridge, 7.62 by 53R, right? 54R, depending on what spec you're looking at. And you have that same issue around the shoulder blows forward, and then you've also got a rim. So yeah, kind of almost a little bit belted like, right?
Almost.
Double headspace.
yeah. With a belted Magnum cartridge, you're supposed to belt headspace off the belt, but it works a lot better if you use it off the shoulder. But this doesn't really have much of a shoulder.
All right, I'm going to start seating.
All righty.
Tell us about the equipment that we're using here, which you've been using actually quite a bit, right?
I have. You sent me home with all this nice orange stuff, and it works great. Lyman makes some good stuff. We did a show on budget reloading with Lyman.
Yep.
And I thought, well, it doesn't get any more basic and budget oriented than for the 30-30.
Do you like that? We're looking at the cannular here.
Let me take a look there. Yes, I like that a lot. One of the things, some of the books recommend that you do a roll crimp on there.
Okay.
And I have done that with a 30-30, and then I experimented a little, and I found that the neck tension alone, at least with this die, was more than enough to hold the bullet in there in that tubular magazine during recoil with no movement.
Now what about feeding? Because when you apply a crimp, like for an AR-15 or a semi-auto, it kind of enhances feeding a little bit.
Well, I don't think I've ever had any problem feeding with a 30-30.
Gotcha.
So it's just, the fact is, it feels really slick through that Marlin built gun.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a little bit of a visual powder check each time to make sure, okay, now that cannular is a little bit different spacing on that.
Yeah, interesting.
But the bullet, the cartridge overall length does look about the same.
I wonder if we got some mixed cannulars on some of these bullets.
Okay, well that's something to look at. Just
It
make sure
is.
we got that all the way down. Yep, okay, well we can check the cartridge overall length with some calipers when we're done.
Sure.
And let's talk, we're talking about bullets.
Yeah, this is a...
Points and not wanting something that looks like a firing pin.
Right. Yeah, the reason that these lever action guns with their tubular magazines, the traditional old style there, you've got flat nose and round nose bullets are all you really ought to be using up until about 10 years ago when Hornady introduced a special tip for their bullets. But by and large, the traditional bullet for a lever action rifle has either a flat nose or a round nose. This Sierra has a flat nose exposed lead tip. This bullet Sierra introduced, I think in 1959. It's been around a long time, and I would bet it's virtually unchanged from there. You got to figure the 30-30 they've had over 100 years to pretty much perfect the bullet designs for it.
Yeah, and it's not the type of rifle that you're going to grab for some really precision-oriented 1,000-yard shot, right?
No, although I actually know a few guys up in Okanagan County who shoot these things at 600, 700, 800 yards, putting big, fancy, tall sights on the tang.
Well, that sounds kind of fun, actually.
It does, doesn't it?
Pushing things to the limit, as it were.
I haven't done it myself, but it's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, I shoot a couple 100 yards at it, and especially when I put a scope on the little rifle. We had some fun shooting it today, though. Iron sights out 50 yards, that was great.
So, question for you all, what about progressive reloading of 30-30? That seems like that would work pretty well. And if you're, now, lever actions in competition, is this something that you're going to use for cowboy action type stuff?
I don't know if
there's a lot of quantity of ammo?
Yeah, and probably in a different chambering. Most of those guys are shooting 38 specials.
Right.
And that's, that's a different action, and you've got a bigger, longer magazine and more magazine capacity, very low recoil, so they can get back on target very quickly. I've been utterly amazed at watching cowboy action shooters, how fast they can shoot a lever. They can shoot a lever as fast as I can shoot an AR-15.
That's pretty amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
So, question for you about this bullet. Is this one, what would you use this for, like in terms of hunting? Would this be suitable for a deer or something like that?
This is the 170 grain bullet, is the heaviest normal use bullet for the 30-30. Usually it's 150 or 170 grain bullet. Those are your normal choices. There's some other bullets out there. This one I would use on deer. I would use it on black bear for sure.
Okay.
And I actually know a fellow who shoots an elk every winter. He has a nice setup, and he shoots an elk every winter with his 30-30.
Wow.
And I think he's using 170s also.
Just shows the versatility, what you can do with one platform and one cartridge.
Yeah, and he's able to really pick his shots. I don't think he's shot past 75 yards ever. Yeah, and he waits until the elk herd is milling around in an area where he knows they're going to be every year, and he goes out and gets one.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. So yeah, it's a good bullet, good all-round bullet, and it should handle. I would think it'd be perfect for wild hogs too, but I don't know.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never tried it with wild hogs.
Sounds like that's worth an experiment or two.
I think so.
And that concludes our loading. So we have 20 cartridges that we just loaded. I think we should try some out in front of the studio shop here.
That sounds like a great idea.
Let's do it. Ready?
Sure. Look like right on the bottom of it.
Okay.
Nice.
Four in a row.
4 in a row.
Feels good.
How cool is that? We didn't blow it up with your hand loads.
That's right.
Nice. That's a victory.
Yeah, exactly. Just fun. I mean, how else can you say it?
I love shooting these things. You know, it's so much fun. It brings out that inner cowboy in you.
Oh yeah.
And just, you know, it's like back in the old days.
Yep.
This is what we're going to do, is we're going to shoot our lever gun, shoot our
That's right.
30-30.
Wow. Haha, nice.
I love this gun.
I could see the little spark each time you hit the steel.
I wonder if that'll show up on camera.
That is really, really cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun to shoot, accurate.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there you go. Full circle. We shot the rifle, we experienced it, we loaded some ammo, we validated. I can tell you one thing, I got to get a 30-30 lever action rifle.
It's going to be good.
Definitely. So there's a question for you. What kind of 30-30 lever action rifle should I get? Should I get a Henry? Should I get one of the new introduced Marlins by Ruger now? Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. Thank you very much, Guy, for sharing your rifle and sharing your reloading gear. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.